Okay, somebody yesterday asked a shaila, if somebody's sukkah was destroyed on Yom Tov or Shabbat, and there's no other sukkahs around. He lives in a place, Yupatzville, and there's any way he could fix the sukkah on Shabbos for Yom Tov. So we'll start with the Gemara Sukkah Daf Chav Zayin. The Gemara says, Tanya, Rabbi Lezer Oimer, and yotzim misukah l'sukkah. When oitzim sukkah b'chula shal moyed. That's according to Rabbi Lezer. If it be sukkah, good for 7 days, and if your sukkah got destroyed or you never made chol moed, you can't make a sukkah. Chol moed yotzim misukah l'sukkah. It doesn't mean one sukkah 7 days. Oitzim sukkah b'chula shal moyed. And if your sukkah got destroyed, you need to build a sukkah. You could do it. No, by the way, I said both maskim chacham Rabbi Eliezer. If your sukkah was destroyed, you could do it. Okay, it doesn't answer our question. Our question was Yom Tov. Okay, but we have something to start with. Chalamoid definitely lekula alma. If it was destroyed, you could fix it. Even though the chalamoid we don't do construction, but such a thing it's dvar mitzvah. We have a chiv to sit on sukkah every day. It's more the post can bring. It's more than chag matzahs. Chag matzahs you have to eat matzahs the first night. After that you could eat potatoes the whole Yom Tov. Sukkahs you have a chiv to sit in the sukkah the whole 7 days. You're sitting in the sukkah. You have a mitzvah. We say leshav sukkah all 7 days. By chag matzahs we only say leshav alachilas matzah only at night. Once or twice, okay. So, Lamaisa, what we're going to do if it's going to happen the same thing on Yom Tov. So the Kaf HaChaim brings like this. He says, "Schach shnofal b'Yom Tov, v'nishar oil tefach, and lahoisif b'Yom Tov." He says, even though the chiddush even though it's one tefach, you have schach. So by the oil, halacha is if you have one tefach already open, you could roll the rest of the oil. But it's like mamshich the oil. Since this oil is diras arai, we have more coolers over there. Over here it says you cannot fix on Yom Tov. That's what brings to us Shoel Meishim. Then he brings some Eshel Avram. He says the mashma de akum shorei. So we have the Eshel Avram said if you want to bring a goy to fix the sukkah on Yom Tov would be the same thing by the way l'choira on Shabbos. You're allowed to. But then it's like this. V'hainu bi efshar ba'acheres. We're talking about according to Eshel Avram. Then when you don't have another sukkah to go to a neighbor, to somebody to ask, can I eat by you the meal? My sukkah got destroyed. Then you have no choice. You could do it over there. Then he brings like this. That's the lotion of the Kaf HaChaim. The kosher adover lahatir kevan sheyesh bo isur mishum asiyas oil. The Kaf HaChaim doesn't like this heter. He says it's difficult for me to say that's mutter because you're making oil on Yom Tov. What's the heter to make to? And he said b'chol davar she'osur lasoisa osur lamer la'akum lasoisa. It is brought in Siman Tov Tzadik Hey on Yom Tov the same thing like Shabbos Amira la'akum. It's shvus. If you cannot do it, you cannot make oil on Yom Tov. You cannot tell to a goy to do it. Then he brings vayen shuvas be'er Yitzchok. He says mashakosav l'hokel b'zeh. David dvorav apischa oilam. V'li schavru li dvorav. He says it's not. He says like it doesn't look to me. He doesn't like his what his svara over there. Al ken lo attacked him. He says that's why I didn't bring his tshuva because he didn't like where he's coming from. And then interesting, it's the first time I see it. Anyway, he says v'chol dover shenir l'fi anius dati shana mechuvar. If al pi halacha something it doesn't look to him like this the right thing. Linyan dino any matika. So that's why one of his kolonim of Kaf HaChaim. He was a big collection of different opinions. But if that answered me another question. This is a shaila that's not only they discuss it. This shaila being discussed by the Chochmas Shlomo. And it's all of them were before him, and he usually would quote them. The Chochmas Shlomo discussed it. It says like this. Hine im naflo asuka b'Yom Tov or b'Shabbos. Im mutar attack the akum. Nire lefi anis daiti the vadai also less the akum. The Chochmas Shlomo also says definitely also to do it through a goy. If you cannot do it, you can tell a goy to do it. He says, yeah. Yes, then he says this. Hen emes ladas baal hamor the stira sukkah have a rak drabonon. If somebody will take off the schach, will destroy it. Yeah, will remove it. According to baal hamor, it's only drabonon. Why? Kiman have oil aroy. It's not. You're not destroying a permanent construction. It's a temporary construction. Imemele says, "In ken binyona have a rak drabonon." So according to baal hamor, to making a schach on the sukkah, it's also binyan arai. It's only building a oil tent that's aroy, it's just temporarily. Memela, it's only drabonon. V'shuv yesh lema the akum have a shvus the shore, because the goy doesn't have to keep all these mitzvahs. You telling him it's only a shvus, and the whole thing of asiyas oil it's only drabonon. It's two drabonon shvus the shvus, and Memela he says you could tell him to do. That's his others for it. He said miu kiman the enze muskam lekach. Not everybody must have the svara balamor that building a schach or removing the schach, removing it as the rabbanon. He says that's his conclusion. Lechach and lechalal yom tov bekach The end last said the akum kach and his deity. So the he didn't get into it even because he's saying the same thing with Chochmah Shlomo. He doesn't like the idea of doing it through a goy. That's why he says if Bechal doesn't go into it, he didn't quote the Chochmah Shlomo. Okay, so that's I understand. So another thing is it's interesting. I did my homework first. At the end, I look at the Mishnah Berurah. What I do first thing almost, and I see the Mishnah Berurah the Pashtus Matirat. Hear what he says. The Mishnah on this halacha. He says. ואפילו אם הרוח הבל ממנו רק מקצת מן הסכך לבד, אין לו להוסיף ביום טוב עצמוי. That's what he mentioned over here from the same, by the way, they quote the same sefer over there. Even though it's moved a little bit, you cannot, it's like moisif ala oil. It's a lot easier halachically when you have oil. You, like I said, if you have people have a shlak that they open to cover the schach from the rain, if it's open a little bit before Yom Tov, you could continue to open it because it's moisif ala oil. It's a lot easier. You're allowed to do it. He says over here, he says, by the case of the schach, he says, afilu im aruach ibel rak miktsas levad, he says, en lo yisib Yom Tov atzma. But he adds, validei akum afilu novach schach kuloi. Gam ken eshlag. He doesn't say from who he brings it, the Mishnah Berurah. Derkal he has over here, he just said medas atzmoi. What I was.
Why did ask if you're mostly on oil ara? Why did you ask that?
Because I'll tell you why. Because by the other oil, you're rolling. I'm thinking about it right now as you ask. You're rolling the same material. Schach, every piece is a new schach. Every piece is a new schach. Not like you moisif. You're rolling the old oil. You're adding a new. Anyway, the Akum he says b'pashtus. So to me, I'm surprised. He mentioned the Mishnah Berurah a million times. Kavachami, always mentioning. Why didn't he ignore? It looks like he didn't like this opinion. So Mamela he ignored all the people that matter, and he says that's why he says himself, whatever doesn't look to me halachically, I don't bring it in. So he didn't bring it. So it's like this. So Lavaisa look like this. The Mishnah Berurah, the biggest maker, as we're going to see now from other poskim, he's the biggest maker. He says you could do it through the goy. And the Kavachayim, you could say over here, and the Chochmah Shlomo, the biggest machmirim, you cannot even do it through a goy. Now, Lefi Haniyus Daiti, there is a big mokem to be matir this, and I'm going to tell you from Hilchas Shabbos. In Reish Mem Dalet, in Hilchas Shabbos, again, like I said, it's a big tzad to be matir. So, by the way,
you're talking about the schach itself, right?
Schach, or I'll tell you furthermore, if you live in a place that the wind destroyed your whole sukkah, not just the schach. Now you have to build walls. There is a tzad to be matir. If again, we're talking about, and the question was in a place you have no other sukkah to go to. Talking about you're living in a place by yourself. No one is there, no other sukkah. So since it's a dvar mitzvah, you want to become mitzvah sukkah, alidei akum alidei nochri, there is a tzad lahatir to build a whole sukkah. I'm going to go into it in a minute now. Now, by the way, before
For sure, just roll the schach and the wall.
About the schach. I'm telling you now, there's a tzad again. We're not talking about go lechatchila build a sukkah on Yom Tov. Nobody's saying that. We're talking about when the sukkah was destroyed on Yom Tov or Shabbos, Chol HaMoed, and you have no other sukkah to go. You have no neighbors around. You're the only one living in that area. So you could ask a nochri to help you to build the sukkah and the schach. Now, before we go to the Hilchas Shabbos, it's very interesting. Oh, we're going to talk about this. That was part of the shaila. Whoever asked this question, he said, "How could I go do it?" He didn't do the mitzvah. He cannot do the mitzvah. So we're going to talk about it too. That's going to be the next thing. So interesting. There's a bach in Hilchas Sukkah on this perek of Reish Lamed Zayin on this siman. Mishlo also Sukkah kodem achag. Yochal also b'zoch achag. Yeah. Then he brings this whole gemara what we mentioned. Then he's like this. שנאמר שיבה סייום תעשה לך עשה סוכה בחג ואחר סוכה תעשה לך באיזה יום שיבה סייום שתרצה. And here's the punchline of the lashon of the bach. אפילו ביום טוב עצמו. Now, then he quotes the Rambam. If you look in the Rambam, the Rambam says only Chol HaMoed. Where did the no one from the Rishonim and up to the Bach ever mentioned the word Afil B'Yom Tov Atzmo? The first one. You could say it's either he didn't mean Yom Tov, he meant Chol HaMoed, especially when he tells you, look, at the Rambam says Chol HaMoed. Either at the Girsa or so you could say he doesn't mean Yom Tov, he means Chol HaMoed. Okay. Emma says you could say he means Yom Tov too. And this is the scenario when you could do it, when you have no choice, going somewhere else. You want to do the mitzvah. You could tell a nochri to do it for you. And here is an Adarabah, L'shitos and Hilchas Shabbos is making on one thing, so you could do it for here's an Hilchas Shabbos, Reish Mem Dalet. Yisrael shesochar akum livnos lo bayis bekablonos. You hired a nochri to build you a house. Kablonos. Kablonos mean contractor that you don't pay him by the hour. You pay him by the job. You build this room, I give you $20,000. You hire the nochri like this. Or you mati Rabbeinu Tam. That's how the tour starts. This Siman Reish Mem Dalet. Or you mati Rabbeinu Tam. Shivnu lo b'Shabbos. Without getting to the why yes, why not. Since kablonos, and everybody knows in this neighborhood, no contractor works by the hours. They all work by the job. So it doesn't look. I hired you on Shabbos. You're not my worker. You're working for yourself. So the Bes Yosef learns a pshat. The Chosva he brings like this. Because Vatosas Varosh, Vamordchei. Shemrodam lo somach alo arosei. Shebono beisei. Rabbeinu Tam himself, he did not bank on his own psak. When he built his own house, he did not rely on his own psak. That's kablonos. If it's contractor, you could do it even on Shabbos. Really, that's the Lashon of the Bes Yosef. The Mishum Hochi Lokos of Rabenu, which is a tour. If it says Rabenu the tour, he didn't write the Lashon Rabenu Tam Matir. He very oyster. Elakos of Hoyo Matir. He was originally Matir, and he said, "Kulama mitcholo Hoyo Matir." But Achagak Shlo Ma'aser Eder Lo Hiter. La'Ma'aser comes to do it. He felt it's wrong. He didn't do it. Okay, so according to the Bes Yosef, Rabenu Tam originally theoretically Hoyo Matir LaHalacha. La'Ma'aser, either he changed his mind, either he didn't want to bank on it. That's how the Bes Yosef learns the pshat. The Bach over here is a different pshat. The Bach says, I'm reading from the Bach. We don't bank on this Rabbeinu Tam that say, oh, you could build a house, it's a contractor, it's not by the hour. No, we don't. We go like Ri, it's also. But the if somebody already did it, according to the Ri, you cannot even live there. If somebody builds such a house with a contract on Shabbos, you should not live there. It's a big knas. It's a big knas, a big penalty. But it says, but the Bach says you could rely on the Bach, you could live in this house if it's happened already. Im over Rabban going b'Shabbos. Yeah, okay. So according to the Bach, he relies on Rabbeinu Tam partially. But if ever he knows, as Kabbalonus, nobody works contracted by the hour, it's by the job. You're not my shliach. You're doing it for yourself. You're doing on your own. So okay. Now it's even it goes further. I'm going to bring something from the Alter Rebbe, which is the Mishnah Berurah, masking with him on this too, which has happened such a thing in our town. And a lot of people, it was a koilis if it's right or wrong. Here, that. He says like this. That's what I'm reading from the Alter Rebbe in the Reish Mem Dalet Halacha Ches. I'm only reading what's nogia to us. There's lahatir laniach lenochrim livnes besakneses b'Shabbos. Yeah. You're allowed to let the nochrim to build a shul b'Shabbos. The condition. If it's everybody knows, you're not going to find anybody to do for you building a place by the hour. They're going to do by the job. Kablonim, contractors. Then he says, such a heter to build a shul on Shabbos when it's a contractor, even if he knows that only b'shal kagon. What's the shas atchak? What meaning? You have no choice. What's no choice? Kagon sheyesh chashash shema is battle b'hem shachasman bidan b'sakneses legamre machmas rishas hanochrim. Let's say you got permission, you're in a place that they might pull back the permit, tell you cannot build a shul over here. He says, if there's no chashash that construction will stop, this project will stop, you can do it without working on Shabbos, says, then stop for Shabbos. It's not that chilul Shabbos. No, not chilul Hashem. What's the chilul Hashem? That's not the Magen Avram. They don't let anybody to do any work on their holidays, which is Sunday or other days they have. And he said, and we will let it do b'faresya. That's chilul Hashem. That's the svar of the Magen Avram. That's why if it's not Shas Atchak, don't do it. And that's also the halacha the Mishnah Berurah brings. The Aruch HaShulchan disagree with them. So I want to say like this: if b'Shabbos, b'Shas Atchak, and such a thing dvar mitzvah, live in a shul to build a shul, not a house. Only a shul we're talking about. Same thing over here. You now it's Yom Tov or Chol HaMoed. Your sukkah was destroyed. Whether the whole sukkah was destroyed. The wind pulled out your whole sukkah. You're not going to make a mitzvah. Especially you live in a place I'm adding this svara. If you're talking about there's no other sukkah, meaning you live in a place there's no Eden over here. There's no sukkah over here. So some shluchim living in a place and Meila you have few tzdodim say you could build. How are you going to deal with the nochri to build it? So Kaf HaChaim says 1/8 in Hilchas Shabbos he brings over there. 1/8 he says the mashal he brings like that. Ba'ishu emed lipol. Erev Shabbos, you see something in the house going to fall now. A wall going to fall. Something is about to fall. Erev Shabbos, you need to bring a contractor right away to fix that shouldn't fall. It says, Mutter lisker akum Erev Shabbos, betiboilis. He says, you're allowed to hire a nochri, a contractor, not working by the hour. She is machamapolis. Go tell him to support the wall, it shouldn't fall. Not do the whole construction, but shouldn't fall. Alidei koiris, put some beams. Beams. So some beams. Ach lo yisker befeirush. He gives the eitzah. Don't tell him, go do the job. If you fix this for me, don't worry, you're not going to lose. Meaning, I'll pay well. So you didn't hire him. I have another eitzah, l'choyre. Adrabah, when you take some, in such a case, when you in Yupatzville, you have no other sukkah, and you need to put a schach or build the whole sukkah for you, you could either do the eitzah of the Kaf HaChaim, tell him, if you do it, don't worry, you're not going to lose on it, or Adrabah, tell him, I'm going to pay you by the job. I pay you so much by the job. It's not by the hour. You Amira La'akum, the whole thing with Matir over here is a contract. Amira La'akum, it's only Shavuos. But Mokem Mitzvah over here, B'meila L'choira, you would be in such a case. Again, there's no other sukkah. You would be lechoire dvar mitzvah. You need to sit in the sukkah lechoire. You could be soimech on the Rabbanu Tam over here. Again, all this b'shas atchak, and you build the sukkah that was destroyed. It wasn't that you were negligent. There was a big storm, a big wind, or you lost the schach. The old sukkah lechoire. You could either tell them, I'm hiring you by it's amira lakum. It's only shvus the shvus over here. Well, you can say over here the svara that the schach is what the Balamor says. It's not permanent. You're building now over here walls which is the more permanent. But the over here, like I said, the mokem mitzvah. And there's another heter would be you're not the mokem faresa because there's other sukkahs over here. And it's like I said, the mokem mitzvah with this, all this heterim of Rabbeinu Tam and the Mishnah Berurah about the schach, only the schach. Mishnah Berurah I cannot support this opinion because he spoke only about the schach. The choyre you would be able to tell him to do it for you ledvar mitzvah. Now, the second shaila that the choyre it's not done l'shem mitzvah. A goy cannot do it l'shem mitzvah. But that's a gemara mefureshes that Sukah's ganbach, which is the first Rosh Hashanah and ganbach is goyim nochrim, it's kosher. Yeah, we try lechatchila do l'shem mitzvah everything, but sukkah was done let's say if it made for the shade, and even a nochri did it. That's a kosher. So huh?
Goy nochri something in kuti.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, all of them are kosher. Anybody that did even not mechuyav in badavar, that's the halach in Tov Reish Lamed Hey. That's the halacha. That's the sukkah of ganbach.
What's the ban ganbach?
The first one is the gimel is the goyim here. Sukkah Tov Lamed. Sukkah avish l'shem mitzvah kasheira. Who should ask all itself? Going sukkah. The first one is noshim. Goyim. The second one is noshim. Yeah, but so you will want to try to do things like shem mitzvah, but that's kosher without. So this scenario, somebody asks, "What I should go move the salot?" But don't move anything. Don't do anything yourself. Tell the nochri to do it for you. Like I said, and in such a case, again, there's another heter of chutz l'tchum over here. By chutz l'tchum also there is opinion. So I'll tell you, the chutz living chutz l'tchum, the Beis Yosef brings tshuva Ashkenazi. He brings this when he under the Spirush on the tour. He brings this tshuva, but the Halacha doesn't bring this. The Ramah brings this Halacha. So he brings over there. He brings over there that even you live here. Koso b'tshuva Ashkenazi. I'm reading from the Beis Yosef Resh Mem Dalet. Yehudi ador b'yishuv levado. You're living alone somewhere, no one living there. Osur litel na'akum mois laskir lepoyalim b'shabbos b'yom tov. Avagav delegate the matter the mikarbel also, meaning you cannot hire workers to do for you, even by the job. Yeah, the choyre. Talmud says if you live mechutz l'tchum, somebody could do your construction, a contractor. Even on Shabbos, if it's not b'toch tchum, if you have a building somewhere, there's no Jews living there, you're allowed. So why can't you hire a goyim to do for you? Lechatchila hire them now. Yeah. The reason your own bnei bayis, you live over there. Your own bnei bayis thing. You're doing business on Shabbos. Your orchim will think. So this is and halacha. The Ramah brings this. The Beis Yosef himself doesn't bring this. Since it is dvar mitzvah again, it's only isur drabonon. It's mechutz latchum. And even according to Mishnah Berurah, if it's chach, even b'toch tchum, you could do it with the nochri. Yeah, he didn't matter the whole construction sukkah, but I would say if it's somebody lived chutz latchum and the whole sukkah got destroyed, and he could do it on Yom Tov, or according to even on Shabbat, there's no nafkamina over here. Yom Tov Shabbat, there's no nafkamina. A contractor that he works for himself, and his dvar mitzvah lichoira, there's a place to matter it. Avi.